Hi everybody, my name is Greg and my channel is called What You See. We are going to be exploring visual communications and the meaning and concept that goes behind different visual images, logos, advertising, brand marketing, and other visual concepts that we use in our day-to-day life to promote ourselves and our brand. We're coming to you today from Greg's Creative Design Lab, and we're going to spend some time in this video and others discussing logos, how to design a logo, and maybe more than just designing a logo, but what's the meaning and the concept behind the images. These types of solutions, if you will, are going to be very, very important to the success of whatever logo you are designing. Very specifically, I want to share with you, or maybe I should just remind you, that your logo, whether it's representing your personal brand, or you're creating it for a community, or a product, a business, or a Fortune 500 corporation, your logo is a unique representation of your brand. Your logo is going to be not just a unique representation of your brand, but it's also going to be the visual cornerstone of your brand, and it's also going to help you and help your brand differentiate itself from other people and other businesses. So there's a lot more to it than just creating a graphic. A good logo is going to be simple, it's going to be clean, it's going to be unique, and it's going to be memorable. So let's move on, and I want to share with you a few ideas or a few basics about logos. Always remember, whether it's your personal brand or you're creating a logo for an organization or a corporation, products or services, that logo is going to project an image, a very specific message about you or about the company and the services that they deliver. And when those messages are delivered, what are those messages saying about you? What is it saying about the company that the logo is representing? And keep in mind, that logo is going to be representing you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So just give it a little bit of thought. Why leave such a powerful marketing tool up to chance? And if you have the opportunity, and you do, if you have the opportunity to create a unique logo for you and create a unique visual message for you, why not give it some thought? Make sure it's unique. Make sure it reflects your values, your services, or it sends a specific unique message that will separate you from all others. So let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm going to share some basics about logos, logo concepts, and I'll bring a solution to you that I recently came across when I was on a trip to San Diego. First of all, I wanted to share a few basics about the logos and logo design. Logos are made up of two primary elements. There's the logo mark, and the logo mark is a graphic symbol. It's an emblem just by itself. Then there's the logo type. The logo type is a typographic treatment of the company or your brand. It's the text version of a logo. When you combine the logo mark and the logo type together, they create your overall logo that you are going to represent in a brand, be it yours or others. I'll give you a quick example. This is a logo that I designed for a company called Matria many years ago. So when you see this, the word Matria is Latin for mother, and this particular company provided a variety of services that support women and their birth outcomes. So here's the creative solution that I put together for the company. You see here the graphic symbol. Here is the logo mark. Here is the logo type. Two separate things. Now the logo mark, the concept behind it was I took a heart, as in a heartbeat, and I have a stylized heart which you see up here. And through my process of sketching and designing and developing this particular mark, I found that if I took that heart, I flipped it and reduced it, and the way I combined the image now is the image of a mother holding her infant child. So that creates the mark. So anytime in the future you were to see this mark, you can see it stands alone, and hopefully you'll always see that mother holding a child. So this is a mark that represents a very valuable part of what the services and the products are of this particular company. The logo type, Matria down here, I set in all capital letters, but to add a little bit of uniqueness, I have a lowercase r, and then I modified the I stylistically just a little bit, so part of the I actually picks up and reflects some of the shapes within the mark. So together we have the logo mark, and then we have the logo type, and they collectively form the overall logo for this particular company. So I want to share with you something that I just came across recently. I was on a trip to San Diego, and I had the opportunity to see the San Diego Zoo. And part of that zoo encompasses a variety of different organizations within the zoo. So I picked up a map to the zoo, and I was very intrigued. Of course, you already know I love logos, you already know I love typography, but I picked up a map and it grabbed my attention. If you can see here, we have a logo mark. Now I want to go ahead and give a shout out to the design agency that created this whole brand. The agency is called Pentagram Design Studio. They're a great firm, many great designers do work all over the world, and in this particular project, they were tasked with identifying all the different organizations that go within San Diego Zoo, and then coming up with an overall brand for this particular wildlife conservation effort. So a little bit about the zoo. San Diego Zoo actually is a combination of two of the largest parks in the world, and the zoo itself has 15,000 different endangered and rare animals in the zoo, and a total of 750 different species within the zoo. This whole design project took about 2 years from beginning to completion. So what is unique about this logo? Why did it grab my attention? Tell me, give it a thought. What do you see in the logo mark? As part of this design process, you will see that you have a graphic image of a lion right here. You could probably also see a silhouette of a rhinoceros right here. This is actually a white rhino, and I'll get into the meaning of that a little bit later. But the third image you'll see here is a bird, or in this particular case, it represents a California condor. So we have three images of three animals put together into one graphic circle. What else do you see? A good logo often has positive shapes and negative shapes. In this particular case, the positive shape is the lighter color green, and the negative shape is the darker color. So here we see a very, very well thought through design of these three images from positive to negative, but there's something else. If you look closely, you can see they create the letter S for San Diego Zoo. So you can see in this logo, there are three different images of animals, and then you also see some typography. They come together to form the letter S. But it goes beyond that. As part of what this series is about, what you see, what is the meaning behind these three images and why were they selected? Well, now we're going to find out a little bit more about how really good logos have meaning and represent the individual unique qualities of an organization. In this particular image, we have first an image of a lion. With the history of the San Diego Zoo, The founder of the zoo back in 1915 was driving and came across an abandoned animal exhibit. This exhibit at that time was part of the Panama, California exposition. And as this gentleman was driving past this abandoned exhibit, he heard a very loud roar of a lion. That's what got his attention. So as he stopped and paused and he did some further investigation, that's when he discovered that this particular exhibit had been abandoned. And with the roar of that lion, and that lion's name was Rex, grabbed his attention, and as he looked further, he discovered that this abandoned exhibition had animals and had this big lion, a roar of the lion. Since that lion, whose name was Rex, by the way, got his attention, Rex the lion became its founding logo, if you will, its founding cast member. Over the years, other animals became very important. The rhino here, which I mentioned earlier in the video, the white rhino at one time was an endangered species. And the San Diego Zoo, or one of its organizations, has since developed and managed one of the most successful breeding programs in the world. And through that breeding program, white rhinos now are no longer endangered, and there's becoming more and more of them. The imagery for the bird is the California condor. This condor was on the extinction list. And also through the efforts of the conservation, San Diego Conservation in the zoo, this particular bird, which was on the brink of extinction, has become a signature achievement of the organization. So we can see now, and yes, there's a pun intended there, so we can see now that this logo captures the history and century-long conservation efforts of the zoo and the wildlife organization itself. So these symbols do have meaning. Let's go back to this map that I picked up while I was at the San Diego Zoo. We've just discussed some of the meaning behind the graphic imagery of the logo mark. So let's talk about the logo type and the fonts. The logo type, of course, is the text that matches with the graphic mark. In this particular case, and I'll use the word map down here as my illustration, the font is called GT Classic. And in this particular font, it has stylistic qualities that mirror or reflect swooping tails, sharp spurs. A good example of this is the serif down here below the A. You can see how it actually starts looking like a tail, or a spur, if you will. And then, of course, the top part of the A here is also designed to have that swooping feature, almost an animalistic feature. So I'm just using one letter as part of that description, but a lot of different letters, all in this font, mirror the qualities of this particular logo. You can see with the swoops and the edges of the sans serif, not the sans serif, when you look at the edges of the serif on the A and even the particular counter over the A, you can see very similar qualities in the graphics up here where we see the mane of the lion and actually the horn bill up here. So these graphic qualities become similar to the fonts that they're using. So overall, when you develop this brand program to other brand elements throughout the zoo, what you have is a unique font that goes with a unique graphic style that mirrors and matches the unique logo and the unique logo mark. So this is a brand where we've got visual imagery that directly identifies itself with the zoo, but the selection of the images tell a story and a history behind the zoo, which is always going to make it unique to this particular zoo itself. The fonts all reinforce the visual imagery, and it becomes its own style throughout the whole system of signage, print graphics, and advertisements. So I hope you enjoyed that sample. It was something that I get excited about, as you can tell. I love typography, I love logo design, and there is a big difference between creating, let's say, a graphic mark and calling it a logo, and creating a graphic solution which uniquely represents a company that's simple and memorable. So thank you for watching today. I hope everyone who's viewing this video was able to learn something from it. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you learned something from it. With my 30 years background in brand marketing, logo design, and identity design, a lot of the information that you receive here is the same information that will be useful for marketing professionals, marketing executives, graphic designers, logo designers, entrepreneurs, and even if you're starting out just as an artist and you start sketching and you want to create your own logo and your own brand for yourself. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you'll continue to watch my video series. So in future videos and future series, we'll be showing you a variety of different examples of logos that are out in the marketplace, logos and brands that I've created, and if we get a little bit lucky, I'd like to invite some of my colleagues back from college, and maybe they can show some of their work and some of the unique typographic and logo solutions that they've designed for themselves. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you're having a great day. Please come back and we'll see you soon.